Hello. Hi. Hi, hello. Hello, hi. Hi, Polipo. Karma 2, indeed. You do know what that means, right, Polipo? You do understand the significance of that, right? Because it is a very important emoji. Very important. Give me a second, I'm finishing my Coke. Here we go. Okay. So, just for context, the Karma 2 emoji, it refers to Rain World, where in Rain World, each sin is represented by a karma symbol, and this one represents lust. It's illustrated directly in-game via two people having sex. So it is literally just a sex symbol. It means sex. That's what it means. So, you know, it is a pretty funny symbol. It's a pretty funny way to circumvent, you know, not being able to put sex emojis on Twitch, right? We're starting Umineko. I am a bit faded. I'm still recovering from yesterday. I gotta talk about this. Yesterday, I took the train back from my family. And there was a small problem in that the train was insanely crowded. But when I'm talking crowded, I'm talking like literally could not, you know, move around crowded, right? Could not even sit down in the middle of the alleyway. It was insanely unbearable. I managed to find a seat for me to sit on, but for an hour, everyone was like crammed like sardines. It was so unbearably hot inside of this fucking train. And I felt like I was suffocating at some point, right? Near the end of the hour, I really thought I was gonna pass out. Because it was just CO2, like everywhere. There was so little breathable air. Absolutely awful. I do not even understand how it's possible to sell tickets for a train like this, right? Because last time I took this train, there was less people because you could sit down, but someone still had I forgot the English name. Passed out. Someone still passed out, right? In the middle of the alleyway. Because they're forcing us to stand in the middle of them. With no air. Because there's no airflow too. Like, that's also a big problem. Which doesn't help. So, you know, I'm still, like, mentally, physically exhausted from that shit. I'm not taking this train again. I am not. How could one even conceive of this? Ah, fucking hell, this scene. I swear. I really swear. Where were we last time? What? September 22, September 24, 29? Where's October? But I streamed Umineko on the 2nd of October. Before that was the 29, yeah? Should be right here, but I also streamed on 2nd of October. Well, now I'm confused. I think I forgot to save again. Awkward sauce. Very awkward sauce, as one might say. Yeah, no, I definitely saw that. Which is a very deserved Rosa crush out. Maria. What a piece of shit Rosa is. I keep messing up the name. My ears are destroyed. My ears really like that. Yeah, I did forget. I did forget to save. Oh well. Okay. So that's gonna... Give me a second. I'm gonna open Paint. We're gonna open the Umineko Shot episode 4. Right here. And yeah, here we go. God. I think I'm glad that Rosa died. You know what? I'll say it. I'm glad Rosa died. I think she should stay dead. No matter what, I think she should stay dead. I think that after this, no matter what happens, Rosa should stay dead. And like be adopted by someone else. You know? Someone else from the family. Okay. What the hell? So it's my fault? Alright, Maria. Okay, yeah. Already saw this. Then she starts screaming, then she does the hee hee hee. They're locked in the cave, I remember this. Then they call the others. Paint a window carving string. Yeah, don't worry. It's already shit we've seen. But yeah, thank you for telling me. Didn't miss anything, just absolute control. I wonder, okay, I do wonder, if you held control like this the entire time, right? How long would it take to do the entirety of Umineko just by holding down control? That's the real question that I'm wondering. I've seen this. I don't remember. I remember every dialogue, but I don't remember where exactly I stopped. So what are we doing? Oh, I think that's probably here that I stopped, right? The only thing left for those two will witness the massacre in the hall. Was to cradle their heads without knowing how to interpret what they had seen. Yeah, I think that's about where we stopped. Kumasawa, are you okay? Want some tea? Oh, thank you very much. Thank you much. Sorry, but may I be left in my thoughts for a little while? I tried to be nice. It seemed that Kumasawa still hadn't been able to clear away our confusion. Oh yeah, thanks for being so considerate. Let's let Kumasawa rest for now. This guy was also worried about the shock those two must have received to witnessing such a tragedy. But their wildest dreams couldn't even come close to the unbelievable scene Kumasawa had witnessed. Yeah, she didn't expect Kinzo to show up with an M16 and start shooting everywhere. Right before they all passed out from poison darts that were hidden in the walls. Or something. What the fuck? So like there's two problems, right? Timing wise. If you look at the timing, you could say two things. That they reset the timers, right, on their watch. To explain like the thing, right, where they were in the room at 22:20 and then they're in the jail at 22:30. Right? That was the conundrum that they posed last time. How did they get there in 10 minutes? Kiri suggested that they simply moved the ends of the clock backwards to make it seem so. But the kids, they have a direct line of contact with the kids. And the kids, or at least Goda and Kumasawa arrived at around the same time, right? And they were not saying, oh, it's been hours, right? So it has been a short amount of time. So, the problem is that they also witnessed something that they don't understand, right? So what way would there be to just make everyone disappear into the jail cell while people can escape by accident, right? Or on purpose. Maybe they let them escape on purpose. Like, I already made the theory of just like the Austin Powers trap doors under the chairs where it's just like a slip and slide into an incinerator. That's what I was thinking of, right? But obviously that's silly. And we don't do silly things. What happened to my audio? The audio cut off. Cool. Give me a second. Give me a second. Right. So as I was saying, trapdoors feel a bit silly, right? So I don't think. I do think there was some drugs that were like involved into this. If the fall seemed instant, and they're all connected into a much smaller room, then unless there's a slip and slide, right? Wait, give me a second to pull it up. I think it's important. Wait, is this the scene? I want to like showcase what I'm talking about, right? This is what I'm talking about. There we go. It's that scene, that one scene, which isn't loading. Which, at which point, it just decides to, like, kill all of them, right? If they just do something like this. It could be like this, right? Have you pictured this? It could just work like that. And I think that would, like, be absolutely perfect for this scenario. I genuinely don't see. I genuinely do not see. Either I doubt everything they say, and I say they're insane, and they went insane, and like it makes no sense. Or I admit it's magic. Because like, it's both limited in the previous time, right? It's not like I can say, oh, all of this happened at 8 p.m., and then there's been like a 2-hour period where all of them were like fucking zonked out and 2 escaped and everything, right? Because there is a previous time, which is when the kids left the room to start discussing all of this, right? Which, as far as I'm aware, is before 22. Like, okay, we're imagining dots, right? I need to check again, but the kids left around 21, right? Shinzo arrives at 22:30. Massacre happens. 22:40. Everyone is in the tunnels. Is in the jail cell. Plus contacts. Kids. And Kumasawa arrive there. That's the order of events. So, seriously, what's up? That does leave a hour 30 gap where like poison, sleeping gas, I don't know, hallucinogens, whatever, could have been introduced into the air, right? They could have just, I don't know. It also depends to what degree what good and Kumasawa saw was real. Like, did they actually see a bunch of accomplices? Because they did mention that they had accomplices. Summons people, too. So, this is weird. This is really weird. I don't have a clue. The whole thing about how they fell one by one. They saw each other fall slowly into the room. Right? Like, I think it was Kiri. Kiri woke up first. No, Cross woke up first, saw Kiri fall down. Kiri fall down, Cross and Kiri saw someone else fall down. Right? Like that. It's just like they piled up onto each other. Well, one by one, not slowly. One by one. I can just... There we go. That's also one of the facts that are pretty important. What else is important about this scenario? What else is important? It wasn't just Goda and Kumasawa who escaped, right? Didn't others escape too? I don't know. I don't remember. It's been a bit. We'll see. Whoever escaped, we'll see who it is. Right? But I think that's about all the facts that I have so far that are, like, you know, corroborated by evidence and isn't completely far-fetched. Like, even if... Okay, so here's the thing, right? Even if they're on hallucinogens, there are some things that are undeniable, right? If they're all imagining that there's just portals appearing beneath the floor, you could just imagine that it's mushrooms and that the portals are, you know, actual trapdoor or whatever, right? If they see people, it could just be incarnations. But if they see each other fall one by one, that's factual. If they see extra people, you could also say that's factual. Maybe I already put it there. Maybe there's actual extra people on the island, right? Maybe there are actually accomplices because this is not something that even someone zonked out could imagine, right? What makes it factual? The amount of witnesses, I guess? And the fact that it's odd to imagine that mushrooms or whatever could make that not a thing. It's not in red. Okay, it's not declared in red. So it's as close to red as I can get. So I want to work with that. It's not Obviously, Beatrice could come in slashing red. They all fell at once. Cool. But it's as close to red as I can get. Which does mean there is a hour 30 interval where things could have happened. And I think that should be about that time, right? That a lot of things must have happened then. Everything must have happened during that 1 hour 30 gap. Right? That's what I would say. Apart from this, I don't know what else. Let's go. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep reading. Why is it not capturing the audio? Captures the audio. It's capturing the window, but not the audio. What are you doing? Ah, here we go. It was in fact bugged out. I excellent. This story is very obviously fictional and fantastic in nature. Very obviously. I mean, no, it's realistic. I can't believe it happening. I really wish I could just like right click, load. The first day, October 4th, 1986. That was 2 days ago. About today, we should have like big news about the massacre like all over the world right now. Goodbye, Hideyoshi. Battle-kun. There you go. Okay, so we'll see if I can get more info. As I said, I'm not gonna get much red now. So I'm gonna need to like gather as much info from like what I see. It's the same thing as in episode 1, right? Episode 1, I didn't have red in episode 1. Yet I still managed to figure something out for episode 1. It wasn't the best. I do have a theory about what happened. One theory. I could make more, and I probably should make more. But the lack of red doesn't mean it's odd. It just means I need to pay more attention to like smaller details. And I shouldn't dismiss any testimony because it seems like incredible, right? As I said, you could assume that the whole, oh, I'm summoning bunnies from the outer world or whatever, is bullshit. But you could also assume that Kinzo did in fact bring bunny girls onto the island, which are just like, you know, girls with bunny ears, fake bunny ears, and machine guns, and told them to mow down the room. And then everyone else in the room hallucinated that the bullets were just giant golden snakes or whatever. But it could still like mean that the rabbits exist. Nothing disproves that the rabbits exist. A lot of things are probably exaggerations. And I think that's what it is. I think everything that I've seen has been massively exaggerated. And none of this happened, or they remember it exactly, but the grand outline could be about the same. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I'm having a lot of theories, but I'm trying to understand how the game wants me to understand the story, right? I'm slowly understanding that it really wants me to acknowledge what the witch says and work with that too, and not just dismiss it. That was like the entire point of the beginning of episode 4 too, right? It was how I figured out another way around the web of truth. I should accept the witch side to some degree if I want to do this. And the witch side includes testimony that I don't like, right? That's the entire point of what we were talking about. Anyways. This guy was also worried about the shock that those two must have received after witnessing such a tragedy. We're on the correct window, right? We are. But the wildest dreams couldn't even come close to the unbelievable scene Kumasawa had witnessed. Nevertheless, with her mother murdered and her father captured, it wasn't as though Jessica could stay calm either. She sealed her anxiety and sadness using her anger towards the Kinzo, and walked irritatedly around the room. Kumasawa-san, is mom really dead? Yes. Never seen such a horrible way today before. Is it possible that she's still alive? And that if we fix her up, we could save her? I'm sorry, but no, Jessica. It's not possible for a person to have something like that done to their head and live. Yeah, you're right. There's no need for first aid. Once your head's smashed, usually. When Gora had come flying into his guest house, he had, overcome with agitation, told about the massacre in the dining hall without concealing anything, except for a part about witches and magic, which they themselves still couldn't believe. Yeah, that's also a thing that I don't like, right? While I understand, in the past I already went like in details about, oh, I think that if they don't tell Battler about it, then it didn't happen. But the magic thing could still have happened, and it was just grotesquely exaggerated, right? Like, remember the whole ordeal in episode 2. Wait, let me look up episode 2 again. Give me a second. I've got my chart around here. Episode 2. Come on, give me episode 2. I don't want mining coal, fuck off. Should be on my desktop. Here we go. So, here we go. Where it is. The whole thing about, you know, him being dead yet showing up in the room and killing everyone, right? Kennen was killed in this room. At what time? Kennen was killed in this room. That's very good. I'm glad to hear that. At what time? At what time? It's very good to say that Kennen was killed in a room, but if you don't say what room, it doesn't matter. Or what time it is, it doesn't matter. I think that's also something important. Right? The was could indicate that she's talking about like the period of time that we were witnessing at the time. But they are witnessing the game after the game, right? To some degree, so was could refer to any point in the story. So they could have done the massacre of Nanjo and Kumasawa in the guest room and then came back to die in that room. And yeah, exactly. It could have been at any point. Does not say at what time. See, this is something I would have missed. This is something I could have missed. Oh. Wait, it doesn't matter. I can't do it right here. Give me a second to save. You mean chart episode 4. Here we go. Now I need to open Yumi chart episode 2. It's good you made. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like, people mocked it. People said, oh yeah, it's silly. You're not getting anywhere with this, right? But I got every single red, and I got every single theory I ever thought of. So I can't go back and loop around and say, oh, I have this new idea. And then the idea is already written, and I'm like, no, never mind, I already thought of that. Right? This has already happened a couple times. So, give me a second. Where could I put this? There you go. This is everything that I don't understand. I did all of this. Guys in the room with his key behind. Not necessary. Because every servant, I think at that point in time too, every servant was not there. And the only one who could have done this was in fact Canon. Like I already stated so, but this whole ordeal of, oh, I love my George, I am Shannon, I love my George, I love him so much, I would never hurt him. I am human, I'm not furniture. They've been brainwashed. Their entire childhood. Their entire childhood they've been brainwashed into being like absolute perfectly obedient people. Of course, I can believe that they would, in fact, right, have this whole hallucination about saving their husband, saving their beloved, by murdering the fuck out of them. Right? They could just make up in their head over like the real hero, saving everyone. When in fact, they're not serving anyone. Obedient furniture, not people. True. True. I've already determined, right, that furniture are not humans, according to Beatrice. Here we go. Now I understand it. Now I understand what it means. It could also have been a clue, right? As I said, I do think, to some degree, I spent so long on the good at George and Shannon room. When I think the real answer was that the servants were behind all of it. All along. Every single servant. Same cell, by the way. I don't know. I don't know. I still don't understand either the whole ordeal about the very start of episode 2, with that cutscene of I acknowledge the witch that every adult did, right? In the church. I don't understand what the fuck was up with that. The more time passes, the more I'm becoming convinced that episode 2 was done entirely by every servant. And episode 3 was a bunch of other stuff. Must mean the witch is real. What do you mean? There is someone who calls themselves a witch, that's for sure, I believe that. I believe that. I believe there is someone who calls themselves a witch. I shall not pretend that I don't believe it. I do. But if they all acknowledged her. Yeah, they all acknowledged there's a person who calls themselves witch. They did, not me. They didn't ask for my opinion. It's like that one meme where like, I consent, I do not. That's exactly me. Right there. I acknowledge, I do not. Someone should do an edit of that with like Butler. Every single member of the family on the left, I consent. Beatrice in the middle, I consent. And the one guy. Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. In other words, he hadn't even sugarcoated. Pretty sure they exist already. But it definitely did. That would very much surprise me if that's not already a thing. He hadn't even sugarcoated the cold-blooded way in which Natsui and the others had died. Well, it's too late now, but Kumasawa regretted the fact that they'd obviously said too much. However, while lightly shaking her head and with a slightly painful laugh, Jessica spoke. Actually, thanks to what you told us, I was able to stay level-headed. If you'd avoided mentioning the part about her head being smashed, I would have thought she might still be alive. And I would have run off towards a mansion. Made grandfather might have gotten killed. Sliver of hope could have been fatal in the end. So I'm grateful. I'm truly sorry. I'm sorry we didn't choose our words more carefully. Don't worry about that now. There's nothing we can do for Mom. But that's still alive. And Shannon, and Kirby and Ninja too. I want to save them too somehow. So we shouldn't do anything unnecessary that might make things worse for them. The most helpful thing we can do right now might be to wait by the phone. We might receive a phone call asking them to create a diversion while the others escape. Or the others might discover their location and call for rescue. Jessica understood that in order to act promptly when that time came, the only thing they could do for the time being was to wait in this room. Once they had finished inspecting the downstairs area and locking up George, Butler and Goda returned. Each was holding various objects. George had things like drinks, canned foods, crackers, and other types of snacks he had found in the lounge and the storage room, as well as a first aid kit. Which is good in case your heads get smashed, right? Just patch that up together. A bit of your brain out on the floor, just like pop it back in. They were all consumables that would be essential during a siege. Goda had a large folding ladder and carpentry tool. Those were to seal the door from the inside, just in case. If it came to it, the ladder was for escaping out the window. Butler had brought up objects that could be used as edge weapons or poles. In addition to the obvious kitchen knife, there was a disassembled table leg that could be used as a club. And a pole roughly the size of a person, which it apparently made by taking apart a hat stand. If it was a pole at no point, it could surely be used like a spear. You could just get duct tape and put a knife at the point. Butler, you had time. You had time to get duct tape and put fucking anything at the end of that pole. There's a good chance that their enemies had guns, so it was dubious whether these would be of any use. But it was still better than not having them, and if having these could give them at least a little peace of mind, then they'd be useful for their calming effect. That's true. Then, the bed and sofa were placed up against the door, barricading it. It didn't go so far as to seal it up with nails. There was still a chance that Cross and the others would escape and come to meet up with them. They had apparently set up a barricade at the top of the stairs as well. It had been set up in a way that would create a racket, so it would serve as a warning alarm as well. That had apparently been Butler's idea. For that reason, they turned the TV off. This way, if the first floor window were to be broken, they could hear. Once the switch had been turned, all that was left was an eerie silence. You're gonna need something for moral. It's not as big of an IQ. Now they're all like in silence, doing nothing for 24 hours while they know there's murderers about. They're gonna crack. They're gonna crack really fast. Their door is already barricaded. If someone's trying to enter, they'd notice. Turning off like any distraction is the worst idea possible. Or they're going to have to spend the whole night being crushed by suspense. The boat could come tomorrow morning. However, judging by the weather report, most of tomorrow was going to be covered in a typhoon. The boat probably wouldn't come. The typhoon was said to pass by in the morning of the day after tomorrow. In other words, the boat would be arriving in the morning after next. The morning of October 6th. Should be day. Right now, it was late at night on October 4th. We would have to spend more than 30 hours into silence, with Kinzo turned gold-blooded murderer and his weird companions prowling about. Even with the shutters closed, there would definitely be a little bit of light seeping out. It might let the enemy know that they were hiding here. Rather suggested that it might be best to turn off the lights. But they had already been overwhelmed by a ghastly feeling just from turning the TV off. There wasn't anyone who directly challenged his proposal, but then again, there wasn't a single other person who agreed with it. Oh, we can't watch TV? Yeah, sorry, but you'll have to bear with it. We can't just let the sound of the enemy breaking in slip by. Boring. At least play games. Even though she had been told of her mother's death, Maya alone didn't feel an approaching sense of danger. She just seemed to be upset that the TV had been turned off. Even though she's in such a bizarre situation, did she not share in our sense of danger? Because she's so young? To Butler, even this faintly unsettling feeling from such a young girl made him sense that there was something very eerie about Maria. Are we gonna have the old talk by George again? Explaining on Maria is actually just, you know, being a normal kid. I've even get it. That's true. At that time, it wasn't like cable. It was all like antennas. You have a point. That said, we've already done all we can. Do you think you'll be able to do anything about the bars? Unfortunately, they're tougher than expected. I don't know when these were made, and there's no problem with their lifetime guarantee. These truly were built very well. He chuckled softly. Give me a sec, I need to see. I want to... Is there no epitaph? No! There's no epitaph anymore. Right! Kinzo called the game off. So he doesn't have to follow the epitaph anymore. Like, I'm not sure what his ceremony entails now. Right? If there's no more need for an epitaph. He chuckled softly. They had no moves they could make, but she'd calmed down just a little. This place is just like the capture pile of a chess game. There are no remaining moves left to us. Not yet. Still too early to give up. If we stop thinking, might as well stop breathing, right? Exactly. Chess pieces in the capture pile may serve no purpose, but it's shogi. They can be quite significant. Just one captured pawn should be able to put pressure on the opponent. Well, I see. But still, there's nothing that can be done about these bars. For us, maybe. But if we can figure out where this is and contact Goda, he might be able to come and save us. Oh, I see. That would mean putting Goda in danger. And if that happens, I would also be worried about the children in the guest house, alone without a full-grown adult male. George is right there, he's 23. When you're afraid of risks, it's alright to bide your time until the price starts to go up. However, if you're too afraid to cut your losses, you might end up with just a scrap of paper. But in this case, that represents our lives. Honestly, I couldn't believe Goda would do this. Goda is goated. Goda has been like a consistent goat the entire time. It's crazy. And our dignity as parents, right? But you're talking big like that during the telephone call. Telling them that we should behave because we'll manage something on our own. We could just start asking for help right away. That would be very uncool. Giggle. What is point? I've long since thrown out such useless pride. Why don't we put our heads together? Where is this? Is it really underneath the dining hall? Or else, is it a different place? Separate from the mansion. I do like seeing more of Cross. Apparently people don't like Cross, but I do like him as a character. I don't think he is a bad character. People dislike him, I don't know why. Cross, Kiri and Ninja begin to discuss this further. Kenan and Shannon are just bored. Kenan was squatting by the bar, trying to sense anyone's presence. Just as he had been ordered. Shannon came close to him, and they both squatted down together. Do you sense anyone? Yes. Baron focused their attention in this direction. There's somebody relatively close by. Is it human? I think it's the goats. Their breathing is rather noisy. Kenan's ability to sense the presence of others was several levels above that of a human. He said that the breathing was noisy, but Cross and the rest couldn't even pick up the slightest hint of it. Therefore, if he had obediently reported it, they would have merely doubted Kenan's ears. Not really. They got us, didn't they? They goat us. There's goats, you know? Swear, they think that they captured us without killing us. This time, Beatrice didn't make an appearance. Didn't she give an umbrella? No, but she did give an umbrella. I need to write that down. I'm pretty sure she did give an umbrella. I need to write that down. Okay. The master left the study. I don't have a clue what's going on. What do you mean this time? I know. Whatever happens, it changes. It's all for that witch's fecal entertainment. In the end, nothing will change. I wonder if we'll be able to go to the Golden Land this time. Who knows? We have a high rate of losing. Come to think of it, it's very rare for us to survive the first twilight together. I get the feeling that it's incredibly unusual for us to be able to talk together like this, even though the ceremony has already begun. That may be. But even that's just for the witch's entertainment, I'll bet. I can't think of it as anything other than letting us live a little longer to ridicule us, since we usually drop out right in the beginning. Shannon lasted pretty long last time, though. I wonder if we'll be able to reach the Golden Land again. I'm sure we won't make it there. If we hold on to any foolish hope, we'll get taken advantage of again. Giggle. That's right. Last time you got taken advantage of, didn't you? I'm an idiot. Shannon made a sour look and turned his head. Shannon laughed softly and apologetically leaned towards his shoulder. But I'm glad Milady is safe. She's only escaped from the first twilight. She might just be waiting for an even crueler death later on. What about you, Nisa? Aren't you glad George is safe? Bokuwa Bakada? What does that mean? I know Baka means dumb, and Bokuwa means my dumb da? I'm an idiot. Oh, Ken said it. Okay. Thank you. I was just saying for you and Milady as well. I wasn't open for anything like that. Just as you say, that witch is only having fun, dangling prices in front of people and watching them vainly try to get them. I'm sure no one will be able to go to the Golden Land. I wish to rush your Golden Land with my lady, and that person will find it funny. Will certainly never let us reach that place. You're right. Beatrice is thinking about which order of sacrifices will be the most interesting. The whole thing about them being chosen at random is just a blatant lie. That swindling witch. All that about having any wish you want granted the Golden Land is probably just a lie too. That's not true. The Golden Land is a wonderful place. Have you been there? Only for a little bit. So even that was probably just a joke of Beatrice. What's it like there? Well, it's a wonderful place. I can't really explain it well. It's like a world from a pleasant dream. A paradise-like place, with roses blooming all over and beautiful butterflies dancing about. Or something like that. Not a place with a tangible image like that. It's really like the inside of a dream. When you're there, very gentle, very peaceful. And you're allowed to sleep as long as you want, like when you wake up early on a day off, lying on a futon. The light comes in through the crack in the curtains, and you think you'll have to wake up soon. But then you realize it's your day off and you can go back to sleep. It's a place where you can feel like that. I think it would be wasted on me. Waking up on accident, even though it's your day off, is something only you would do, Nissan. So... well, when I was there, it was very satisfying and very calm. When I returned to this world, even though I had just been there a second ago, I couldn't remember it well. It's like when you can't remember a dream you were just having. When did that happen? When did that ever happen? But I still remembered it was a very calm and quiet world. That's it? What the heck? The Golden Land she's talking about isn't anything great at all. I thought it was a place where all your wishes came true. That's right. The place where all your wishes will be granted. Well, maybe that's not quite it. It might be better to say it's a place where you won't wish for anything. For example, Kenan, if you were cold and wished you a jacket, you'd be happy to be given one. But if you were in a warm room to begin with, there wouldn't even be a reason to want a jacket, right? That's what the Golden Land is like. There's no need to even wish for most wishes. In a world where everything is calm. You could even say it's a place that transcends the concept that having your wishes granted will bring happiness. A world released from everything. It's somewhat like a religious world. And there, everything is equal. Anything that can think is equal. There are no humans, furniture, no witches. There, I was equal to everyone. There was no longer any need to feel ashamed that I was furniture. It was honestly a happy world, where all humans and even witches were equal. I don't really remember it well, but I have the feeling that when I was there, I was equal even to Beatrice, and we were good friends. If that witch is there, it won't be much of a paradise. Am I hearing... Am I hearing seagulls? In my right ear. I am, okay. It's the famous Uminekos and they're crying. This is when they cry. You want to go to the Golden Land with George? Oh, strange. The Golden Land is a utopia. We can be pleased with everything, right? Wouldn't you be content even if George wasn't there? No, you're just finally going mad. That makes sense. That makes sense. The Golden Land is very calm, peaceful, and everything is equal. But actually, happiness alone is left out. It isn't a happy world. Of course, just by being peaceful, calm, and equal, it's an incredibly happy world. I guess you could say that it's a world of zero, where you're released from all negative worries. The human world is filled with negatives. So of course the zero world is incredibly happy, but it's still zero. What a luxurious problem to have. Something like this, when you're nodding off on your quiet holiday morning. We're just reading a religion. This is their religion, essentially. Like, we're getting a lesson in what they were taught to believe. Which, like, I don't care. Because this is not like it's true, you know? When you're nodding off on your quiet only in the morning, is the person you love the most is next to you and holding your hand, and it can become an even greater, more wonderful happiness. Something like that. Sorry. Your sister is too dumb to be any good at analogies. In other words, to you, the greatest happiness would be reaching that world together with George. Yes, and surely for you, it will be reaching that world together with my lady. We'll be released from our worries in a fair world. It's like some kind of strange religion. That's what I'm saying! That's what I'm saying! Holy shit. Get in! My man! I'm more worldly minded. I imagine a world where we'll be given some magic medicine, and we could be reborn as humans, or something more like that. If you go, you'll understand. If Beatrice really is a fickle person, then surely someday she'll let you get a glimpse of it too. Oops. If so, then you'll be able to understand my analogy. Well, I'm not holding my breath. At any rate, it seems like game over for us this time already. I'll up for another chance. You're right. If we cling to any other ambitious hopes, Beatrice will take advantage of us. It might be best to just stop thinking and let fate take care of us. We can just be simple chess pieces. No matter what we think or don't think, we can't escape from the witch's chessboard. Our role now is just to wait until we'll be tortured to death. For us, the dream of the Golden Land is too empty. You're right. Until Butler gives up, you guys will never get your paradise. You're right, sorry. Kenan shrugged his shoulders and told Shannon to leave him alone because she was in the way of his duty, distancing himself from her. Realizing her thoughtlessness is bringing up such an inappropriate topic and instead hurting Kenan. I can't talk. Can't talk. Give me a second. Okay. I did some mouth exercises a bit that I remember reading like 30 years ago. Maybe that will help. Maybe. Shannon bit her lower lip and stared at the ground. Shannon wouldn't bother him anymore. She went up and crouched down in a corner by herself. At that moment, Kenan perked up. It was like the ears of a cat when it reacts to a strange sound. What's wrong? Cross, someone's coming. What? They ended the conversation and strained their ears. For a while, they couldn't hear anything, but eventually, they were able to hear the shuffling sounds of a large group of people walking. So they've come. Time to pay for the piper. Well, perhaps this is our first and last chance. I shall talk to Kinzo. I will try to somehow find out where this place is. We're counting on you. He's so going to die. What? The fuck? I got jump scared. Okay. During the last phone call, Kiri had asked what the time over at the guest house was. By doing that, Kiri had learned that it was the same as her watch, and she had learned that their watches had been sent back. It wasn't just the clocks on the walls in the guest house. Several people's watches, including Georgian's and Goda's, had matched. If that was the case, then it had only been a few minutes between the time of the massacre in the dining hall and the time they had been transported to the dungeon. Not enough time had passed for them to be knocked out and carried away. And were those really pitfalls, meaning that this was the area directly under the dining hall? All that they could do was pray that Nenju could find out where this was. They're coming. There's probably 4 people. The master, and 3 of those who appeared in the dining hall. That's enough. You come back here as well. We'll deal with the rest. Shannon, sorry. Can I have you sit by the phone? Get it with your skirt. Yes! The shuffling came close, and there was a sound of a large door being opened in the hallway. The light they were apparently carrying illuminated the hall, stroking the walls with sharp razor-like shadows. And then, the light from the lantern veiled illuminated the prisoners through the bars. The bar's sharp shadows divided them up lengthwise. There were 4 silhouettes. It was Kinzo, Renove, Virgilia, and Gap. Yeah, Virgilia isn't dead in this timeline. Silence, everyone! Please welcome the aid of the Shiromiya family, Lord Goldsmith. Goldsmith? It's Father's pen name. Kinzo always signs it when writing those bizarre grimoires. The made English style? Shouldn't that be Gold Warehouse? I laughed at the same time as him. That's Fright appearing from behind the bars. Terrifying, holy shit. I don't know why I didn't expect to see him like behind the bars like this to be terrifying. What more is a warehouse than a place to keep things in? Whatever. I give birth to gold and use my craftsmanship to further increase its worth. Don't you think Smith is much more fitting? Fair enough. I apologize for butting in. Kinzo, what is going on? What in the world is this? Oh, my friend. Can't you remember? You may never have entered the prison, but you should remember walking through this corridor. Huh? You don't mean... You have an idea? But, well, it is unthinkable. Firstly, we fall through a pitfall and we're locked up in here after only a few minutes. Not only is the distance too great, that's physically impossible. For a human, right? Giggle. Clever. It's this dimension? Between the dimension and the basement like this? Wasn't there a place whose existence you'll whispered of? Which you followed after me several times trying to find? This is that place. No, to be correct. This is its basement. Cackle, cackle. Could this place be the basement of Kuwadorian? That's splendid observation. The game sound is glitching. Oh. Thank you for telling me. I'll restart. That happens. I don't know why. Sometimes it just bugs out. Give me a second. I'm checking something. Okay. Here we go. Sorry. I do want to point out the basement of Kuwadorian. I do like noting that down. It's also nice to know that it's there, but I also can't believe it, right? Unless they find a place. But it was Twitch at first. No, it happens. It happens. Unless the kids also find it, right? It could say this isn't fucking... what's the word? Oh, yeah. Nandro, do you remember? This is from a trip in France. 1,000 years ago. Nandro's like, what? In France? But it's physically impossible. And because they all died there, there's no way to know. This is indeed the basement of Kuwadorian. Kuwadorian? You don't mean... But there's rumored I didn't mention. It really exists. And this mansion was constructed for the sole use of my beloved witch Beatrice. Are you kidding me? There we go. I swear. Give me a second. Here we go. We're good now, perfect. This mansion is constructed for the sole use of my beloved witch Beatrice. It's truly a shame that it can get you to the above ground sections, as it is such a beautiful and elegant mansion. Oh, lovely. Just the two of them alone in the mansion. We were praising like this. I guess Father's tastes are a bit more than I can stomach. Kiri-san. Perhaps it would be wiser to refrain from such rude comments. But I agree. If a mansion was given at this kind of dungeon in it, that would check me out of even a century-long love. I'll take anything of value and run. Oh my, so you don't have an interest in this kind of thing? Yeah, I was thinking you went head over heels for it. Of course I go head over heels. Like if I get a collar or something for a birthday present. But only if he's hot. Why? The fucking boom effect after this. Why? Why are they dressed like that? It's the worst fit ever. It is the worst fit ever. Look at this. This sucks so bad. They all have pretty dog shit fits, except for Ronoville. Ronoville looks cool. Like, look at this. This dress sucks ass. This is still right, actually. The male looks cool. Like, this dress is awful. Ange's alright. I like Ange. Ange, my beloved. Maya looks awful. Castle looks awful too. And I don't think Sakutaro is doing well. I don't think he's doing well. Burn is average. Yeah, Burn is not notable. I think that's it. That's a thing. His fit is awful. Anyways, let's go back to pastime. But Gap is crazy. Yeah, it really is. They actually spent a long time in story addressing the fact that her fit sucks ass. It's a demon. He summoned a new demon. It's like Ronove, but stronger. She can cast portals to teleport people. Think like, what's his name? I remember a guy who like made portals all over the place, right? And like she put portals everywhere. Or E. Oh! No, not you, Carrie. I was thinking of Yugo from Wakfu. Right, that's it. It's like Yugo from Wakfu. Oh, you Carrie too, I guess. But yeah, no, this is not Beatrice. This is not Beatrice. Only an underling. She's literally called Gap. I mean, it's fair. No, I didn't. Silence. Perhaps you could use a gag more than a collar right now. Pinky. Oh, you have an interest in that too? You sure aren't picky, Leah. You go. Don't just go around shortening people's names on your own. Fair enough, you noisy women. Ronove is a woman? Are you telling me you'd like to be locked up in the same cell? Yeah, I didn't, sorry. I apologize, Master. This old body of mine would not be able to stand such a cold prison. Vergila quickly apologized, but Gap and Ronove merely laughed together. It was like they thought they alone couldn't be imprisoned. Or else, that even if someone tried to imprison them, it would be pointless. A prison is the place from which a captured cannot escape. It implies a strong will and love to not let them go for a lifetime. It's not even worth speaking of love to a woman you could give up on if she ran away. A woman who makes you so insane that you don't want to let her escape, to the point of binding her in chains. Because she was worthy of that. It was a love worth sacrificing my life for. I will not ask you to understand. No one can bind me. I will not be bound. I don't want to be loved. I want to love. I feel the same as Goldsmith. That's why I understand the madness of your love. Love and madness are two sides of the same coin, or so they say. Oh, bothersome! But learning where we are so easily was a big step. We'll ask the details later, but it seems you know about this place, right, Dr. Nanja? Yes! If there's always the underground passage beneath Kuwadorian, then if we go straight down it, it'll become a long tunnel. And if we stay on that, we should be able to return to the mansion. If we could just do something about these bars, we could go home. What are you planning to do with us? As I've already declared, you will become sacrifices for the later twilights. There are conveniently 5 people here. Exactly enough hostages for the 5 gougings. Oh, I see. Then it's time for us to pay the piper. Eventually. That's not why I've come to visit you this time, so relax. Besides, I believe I have said it already. If one of my grandchildren is deemed suitable to narrate everything for me, then the ceremony will be called off. In other words, your lives will be spared. What are you planning to do to those children? I shall give them a test. Test to see if they are suitable to be the successor or not. If even one of them can surprise me, I'll call the ceremony off. And if there is anyone suitable, what are you planning on doing with the children? There's no need to worry about that. After all, you all will be sacrificed first. How could anything that happens after that concern you? It's just your fates or your own children. Your children. The embodiment of what you've born, taught and raised. They should be the most suitable ones for you to entrust with your fate. Cackle, cackle. Don't look so worried, Cross. Believe in the daughter that you brag is worth 10 billion yen. Exactly. Children are the embodiment of their parents. It's fitting that we put our fence in their hands. That applies even to you, Father, right? This girl has guts. What a waste on Rudolph. I love this guy. Holy shit. Yuri, it would be best not to aggravate him too much. I agree. Let's bear with it for now. That's right. After all, we're just fish on the shopping board. There's nothing we can do now. Oh, you can insult me with such vigor. I don't dislike that kind of woman, you see. Beatrice was like that too in the beginning. Holy shit, this guy is fucking awful. He made a fucking sex dungeon to old hostage women. Right? Is this what I'm getting? Sir, perhaps we should get back to the main topic. We've been off track for a while now. Ah, yes, where was that? Sorry, my friend. Well then, back to the main event. For that, I've prepared a phone. Shannon, how clever of you. You don't have to hide it any longer. That's something I arranged for. Cackle. But my apologies. But then quickly withdrew herself, and the telephone was revealed. Ross calls the grandchildren in the guest house. Tell them of the test, and of the start of my trial. We're gonna be mentioned for Cross to pick up the receiver. And if I say no? Oh, and what do you think you're in position to negotiate? If you don't make the call, then the grandchildren won't even be given a chance. Do you show me a family within a year? Then I'll sacrifice you all right away. You'd be lucky to become sacrifices right away. Don't you think it would be more painful to watch his children get sacrificed first, before your very eyes? The master is the one who decides the sacrifice order. Don't say things on your own. Yeah. You just tried to shorten my name, didn't you? I did not! I told you not to shorten other people's name on your own! Women truly are noisy. Okay. Umineko no Naku Koroni, Rondo of the Witch and Reasoning. Oh, we're back 12 years later. Okay. I expected to continue with the kids. Okay. A small break it is, then. Oh, his son! Okay. The clink that Nenjo had opened and later passed on to his son still existed on Niijima. The sage doctor was Nenjo's son. The atmosphere about him was very different. He looks awful! Oh my god! This guy looks awful as shit. The worst sprite he's made. Like, no, hands down. Hands down the worst one. I'm truly sorry to say this after you have come all this way, but I have nothing in particular to tell you. Nenjo's son has said that very indifferently. After the accident on the island, was taken up by the broadcast in the most indiscreet manner. Even my father, who was Mr. Ushirmiya's doctor and friend, was focused upon by many with a wholly regrettable interest. All of it was without proof, and they even managed to defile all of my father's previous achievements. I still feel a great deal of resentment because of that. I think that's understandable. Same thing happened to me. I had to put up with it constantly since I was 6. True. My apologies. The doctor finally remembered that Ange was also a victim who had been exposed to the same curious eyes he had been. In that case, you can probably understand why I don't want to have anything to do with that incident. That was an unfortunate accident. The only ones who want to make a fuss about it being crime are those irresponsible TV shows and magazines. I am more than fed up with their attitude. Nenjo had been bathed with attention for being one of Ushirmiya Kinzo's few friends. Because of that, there was probably an aggressive and persistent rush among the witch hunters and the press to use Nenjo's son as well, a surviving relative, as a source of information. The doctor went on and on, criticizing the press indignantly. I really understand how you feel. For a person like me, who was observed even in a personal life, whose privacy, likeness, and even human rights might have been violated, it's really easy to pick up on the anger of someone in your position. And for that very reason, I want to know, more than anything else, what in the world happened in the incident that so thoroughly ruined my life. So I came here. I'm a related party, just like you. Not a magazine columnist or an interviewer. Please, you don't get the wrong idea. I didn't come to do this for fun. Quit looking down on me. If we're gonna argue over whose life was most screwed up by that accident, you're no match for me. Ange spoke sharply. The doctor, who hadn't imagined that it would be talked back to in such a forceful manner, couldn't help but fall silent. From Ange's perspective, the doctor really was whining over nothing. She really didn't want to be looked down upon. It was about time to let them understand how many days had passed for her before arriving on this island. The doctor realized that he said something wrong and remained silent for a while, looking uncomfortable. I know it's probably painful to remember what happened at the time, but if there's anything you do know, please tell me, no matter what it is. Of course. I'll keep quiet about it. I visited here today to bring some resolution to my life. I'm 18. That incident took away 12 years of my life, and it will probably keep on taking. Since that day when I was 6 years old, I've remained shut away in darkness. Are you saying that despite that, I still don't have a right to know? No, oh, rude of me. It's that since all the others who came were ill-natured folks, and literally pooped up by God, I apologize for my rudeness. I understand. If you'll swear not to breathe a word of this to anyone, I'll tell you everything. Thanks, Doctor. Then if you would, please tell me anything you can. As you know, my father was not only Mr. Ushirmiya's head physician, but his friend through the game of chess. That relationship was very long, stretching back to the time Mr. Ushirmiya moved to Rokkanjima. So close were they? Very close it seems. Seems that a connection through chess led to my father to stay, Mr. Ushirmiya has mentioned quite often. Although I may not be one to talk, Mr. Ushirmiya was extremely moody. My father was an exceedingly magnanimous man who who excelled at interacting with humans like him. Not to imagine that he was a rare friend for the isolated Mr. Ushiramiya. That day was the day of the family conference. At the Ushiramiya family conference, the inheritance and how it would be distributed were rigorously disputed, making it almost like a financial conference. Which means Dr. Nanjo must have gained a trust so great that he was asked to attend even that, right? My father was a simple doctor, so I can imagine that he was in a position to advise on the distribution of wealth for a massively rich family like the Ushiramiya family. Was most likely called there to assist Mr. Ushiramiya's health, because it was not at its best at the time. As Kinzo's close friend, I'm sure my father would have kept his mouth shut, and that he was trusted not to leak the secrets of the family conference. Ushiramiya Kinzo in very bad health at the time. Were there any medical shots left behind? Perhaps he brought the medical shots with him on the day of the accident. I'm afraid to say the entire folder of Mr. Ushiramiya's medical shots have been lost. Yeah, they're still like pushing in the theory that Kinzo was dead before the events. Right? I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to push that Kinzo is already dead by giving us hints like this, which was already stated in blue too. But I already got my idea. It was my father's patient. I do not know the details. Around the time of the incident, did anything strange happen? Yes, there was one thing. However, it seems exceedingly likely to invite misunderstandings. I very much do not wish to discuss it. What is it? Please tell me. Okay, that's big. For a while, the doctor beat around the bush. After saying that much, he wouldn't be able to full edge by dodging the subject. He eventually gave in. After making sure herself to secrecy again, told her. The truth is, several days after that accident, I received something by mail at my home. By mail? It was very curious. The sender was made out to be me, but I had no memory of it. Someone had typed my name and sent it. The destination was Ribbon Island in Hokkaido, excluding the northern territories. It's at the northernmost tip of Japan. The recipient was apparently a resident on Ribbon Island, but the name was my father's. What does that sound? Is this a new tip? No. However, it seemed that there was a problem with the destination address. It was stamped as address unknown. Return to the sender. Me. It was truly a strange tale. Nanjo's son's name was written as a sender. However, he said that he hadn't mailed the letter. In short, it meant someone had faked his name and sent it. The destination was Nanjo Terumasa, on Hokkaido's Ribbon Island. The lot number written on it didn't exist. So the local post office had been unable to deliver it, and instead sent it back to the sender, Nanjo's son. What was inside? I do ask that you keep silent about this. It is extremely troublesome to me as well. And even so, I cannot throw it away. Doctor stood up and faced a bookshelf. There was packed a group of dictionaries that could only have been ornamental, meant to make it very clear that the owner was an intellectual. When he pulled several volumes out from there, a large, ruined envelope picked up from behind them. He took that out and tossed it onto the desk. It had been carefully sealed with cellophane tape, and its faded color and dryness made it clear that it had been sealed 12 years ago. I asked most silently for your silence on this matter. Being so persistent that it was annoying, the doctor removed the seal with a paper knife. Then, when he tilted the envelope, an already open mail envelope spilled out. The envelope had a weight to it, and seemed that there was something more than a letter inside. The recipient was certainly Nanjo Terumasa. Just seeing that was a huge shock. Following that incident, Nanjo's corpse had not been found. It had eventually been treated dead after going missing under extraordinary circumstances. And despite that, a letter addressed to a Nanjo in Hokkaido existed. One could almost take this as a sign that he had faked his own death and escaped to Hokkaido. Was Nanjo really in Hokkaido? Or else was there another person with the same and first last names in Hokkaido? If my father had somehow escaped from the accident and lived on in Hokkaido, that would have made us of his family very happy, regardless of the circumstances. I also thought of that possibility at first. However, the envelope's destination address does not exist. In short, this envelope was mailed that had no way of reaching him. Is there a possibility that the sender miswrote the correct address? Of course, I cannot deny it. However, judging from the residence's house number, I find it hard to believe. Hokkaido, Ribbon Island, Ribbon County, Ribbon City. Oh. Wait, 6-7! Oh my god! 6-7! There's no fucking way! That's huge! That's huge! That's really huge. It's 6-7! Up until Ribbon City, it's fine. But I just couldn't wipe away the feeling that the sequential number after it. 1, 2, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it's 071511129, right? No. That's one number too many. 071 511, yeah, 29. So the missing 9. Right, I'm looking at this. The 9 isn't there. Also 0 isn't counted. I don't know. I don't know address in Japan work, that's a problem. Right? If I knew, it would be a different matter. Not like a fake number that some kid had made up. They probably wrote a nonsense number that clearly didn't exist. I think it's natural to assume that, from the very beginning, this envelope was sent to a non-existent residence, to which it had no chance of being delivered. Why is it in bold? Why did you write that in bold? Nanjo's mail. Send back. Oh, son. Address. Fine. Until 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7! Destination address doesn't exist. Mail is generally returned to the sender. But even in the case of an incomplete address, the local post office will often, courteously, and to the best of its ability, research to find whether the sender's intended destination exists. When they still can't find it, the money is sometimes returned after an investigation of several days. Wow. Very nice. Thank you. It seemed that the same thing had happened with this envelope, and the stamp was postmarked on October 3. It was postmarked on Niijima. Niijima was a long way away from Robben Island. On top of that, the destination was also nonsensical. It had taken more than a week for the mail to be returned. In other words, there was probably a high chance that having the envelope returned to the sender after an unfixed amount of time in the goal from the very beginning. Oh. Oh. Oh, okay. So what's the envelope then? You gonna tell us? Or not? Okay, here we go. Why do something like that? Even before asking what it was that had been sent, this envelope was already wrapped in mystery. If I was Ange, I would just like stop reading it already because it's been like 30 years. And inside it? Go ahead. They're getting the doctor's permission. I tilted the already opened envelope. From the inside came a small letter, folded letter, and a small key with a number plate attached. Then, a magnetic card slid out. A112 is engraved on the key's number plate. I didn't know what it meant. The magnetic card was pitch black and had gold characters engraved in it. Members was written in English. The jet black gold-leaded card design made it feel like something very high class. But of course, I didn't have a clue what kind of card it was just from that. I folded the letter. Contents were extremely brief, and only the following was written. 7/15/11/29. Again. Also written was the name of a certain massive bank known throughout Japan, as well as the word Central Branch. Give me a second. I don't know why I can't. Here we go. 40. Was this just like a bank account? That was all. And this is? It's a card, a key, and a pin for a safe deposit box. And it wasn't a normal safe deposit box either. It was an unsettling one, which was apparently reserved only for special clients. So he finished putting his affairs in order following his father's funerals. He had visited the bank, pin and key and card. There is no doubt that something of great importance was kept there. Oh, the audio glitched out, didn't it? Is the audio fine? I think I know what the audio is bugging out. I need to change my headset. Let me restart the game. I think I bugged out the sound. That's bad. Let's get back to it. Are you... Ah, here we go. Yeah, I was wondering when it would capture the sound. At first, I didn't know what to do. The cat wasn't something he owned in the first place. But he mustered up his courage and showed the card to a bank clerk. He was then switched to a clerk of clearly high statues, as was guided to the large vault on the fourth basement. The security on the way there was strict. The doctor had himself stored valuable items, such as real estate transcripts and safe deposit boxes before, was something on a whole different level. Unlike the procedure at the deposit box that I'd been using, with this system, as long as you had a card, a pin, and a key, you didn't need to have your identity confirmed. But anyway, I was frightened at how imposing that secret vault was, and I wondered what kind of shady object might await me that had been stored in there. And then, when I passed the card through the reader, I was asked to input a pin, and after that 8-digit number wasn't put and authenticated, I can't speak, holy shit. I was permitted access to the vault. It was an incredible scene. A world like something from a sci-fi movie. The massive, dimly lit silver room was covered with doors to safes. He had entered that room along with the clerk. That as soon as the card was read, the vaults he had a right to were determined. So that safes he could open were lit with a green light, while those he couldn't open were lit with a red one. A1-1-2 was one of those safes that were marked. By the way, several other safes marked with a green lamp besides that one. I think we were at least 20. There didn't have been more in the other corner. In any event, I only had the key to A112. I had no way of checking the contents of the other safes. As the clerk watched, the doctor had unlocked and opened the safe. As the clerk watched, when he did, the safe drawer like a large cabinet had opened, and an expensive-looking Durlin case picked out. That was carrying into a separate room, when, for the first time, the clerk left. He was introduced to the contents. The contents were... If he says nothing, I'm gonna fucking flip out. Cash. Okay. How much? I heard that a pack of 1 million yen in fresh banknotes is precisely 1 centimeter thick. Since those were packed tightly into a duralumin case of such a size, there was probably 100 million in total. I don't know because I didn't count. I didn't even touch it with my hands. I realized at once. This was dangerous money. It isn't normal to store a whole 100 million in cash in a case safe like that. It's much easier to deal with if you put it into an account and turn it into numbers. When someone is unable to do that, it's clear that there's something wrong with that cash. My mind went blank, and I instantly realized that I mustn't get involved. You didn't use it at all? Correct? I locked it back up just as I found it, returned it to the original safe, and left. I thought about throwing away that key and card. I don't know what will happen. For that reason, I've been hiding it in the back of this bookcase for a full 12 years. Still do not know what kind of money that was. Could I borrow this envelope? No, please just view it here. Understood. Then if you'll excuse me, there's something I want to investigate. I took Honey-chan's grimoire from the knapsack that sat down. I thought she was gonna like punch the fuck out of him and then run away with the key, right? Run away with the key and just go and open the safe for her. But I also remember that she has like fucking billions of dollars. She doesn't care. Opened the page with a paragraph Beatrice had written to Honey-chan and compared the handwriting on both. I accidentally bumped into the mic, sorry. It's different writing, right? There's no mistake about the characteristic handwriting. The one who had sent this 100 million yen in cash was Beatrice herself. Wait! Kinzo is Beatrice? No, Nanjo. I meant Nanjo is Beatrice? Holy shit! Nanjo Triss is real! That would explain so much! And by so much, I mean literally nothing! The more I think about it, the more I think it's likely that Kinzo at least LARPed as Beatrice, right? And that he could have like LARPed as her and written the letters in advance and everything, right? And then just gave them away to a potential serial murderer that did everything. Right? What is it? Something's bugging me. What is it? What could it be? Terrifying sprite. Yeah, pretty sure I got something like that in the mail. Hey ma, where'd you put that? The same envelope and contents had been sent to Kumasawa's son, who had once lived with her. Kumasawa's Tabakichi, Kumasawa's son, works as the Dijima fishing harbor. He must have gotten his carefree, big-hearted personality from Kumasawa. Many of Kumasawa's sons are fishermen, so they're often away from the land for work. This one's happened to work at the harbor, so it was only coincidence that I managed to get in touch with him. Kumasawa loved to talk, so I did hope he might have heard letters something slip, but I didn't read that one. Unlike Nanjo, he seems to be a more sobered, indifferent person. After the rampage surrounding Rikonjima, he grew to completely despise the press, and he never spoke again of what happened around that time. He once had a doctor afflicted with an incurable disease, but unfortunately, he was unable to live out a natural lifespan. Aww. He had been very busy in the days since, and seemed to have forgotten about it while running around all over the place. However, its strange contents had apparently stayed in his memory, and he remembered as soon as Ange mentioned it to him. After a bit of a wait, his thin-lipped wife found the envelope, complaining that he always forgot where he puts things right away. The modus operandi for the sender and recipient was the same as Nenjo's sons. The sender was made out to be Kumasawa's son, and the recipient was Kumasawa Shiyo. And the destination address was in the Okinawa Prefecture, the westernmost tip of Japan. The lot name was the exact same sequential number that had apparently been chosen without much care. That was certain. This envelope was definitely sent with the goal of having it be returned to the sender. Its contents were exactly the same. A113. Number right after the one on the key that had been sent to Nanjo. With the 100 million yen in cash, okay? Did the guy go there? I get the feeling my dead mother sent it to me from beyond the grave. You already get what's inside, and it's creepy. But I just left it alone all this time. I totally forgot about it until today. Do you know what this is, girl? Would it be that the same kind of thing came to your place? What is it, Ange? Who are you? Is it a headache? A headache? Sorry, my head hurts. I've got it. No. What do you mean you know? You don't mean... This envelope came to your place too, Ange? I've remembered. The strange envelope was also sent to me 12 years ago. Including my entire family, I was depressed. But it was a really strange thing to come in the mail, so I still had a faint memory of it. It was a strange letter, which I had no memory of sending, but which had me as a sender. I forgot the destination address, but the name and recipient had been Nishimiya Rudolph, my father. I remember how disturbed I was when I got a letter I thought was from my father. Opened it up, and found a key in a card. How? Okay, I understand Nenjo's son. I understand Kumasawa's son. How did they know that Ange would not be on the island? Since she fell ill like a day before. How did they know that Ange would not be on the island when she fell ill a day before? And those envelopes were sent on the 3rd. Right? On the 3rd of October. Technically, she would have just fallen ill at that point in time. I could believe it for the others. But how is it possible for them to know that Ange was... Did they make her ill on purpose? What the fuck? It is often commented that Ange would fall ill at this time, but well, who knows? However, she was prone to sickness, like preparing this in advance. Right? That's a problem. Preparing this in advance is a problem. If I'm prone to sickness, which I kind of was when I was a kid, I would not be able to predict when I fell sick. Right? It kind of crazy. Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. How did they know Ange was going to be ill? They had me at Nenjo and Kumasawa. I believe that. Right? If you were planning to murder everyone, you could set it up so their sons, which are like definitely not going to be on the island. But Ange? What do you mean, Ange? Got that down and threw it away somewhere, I think. Where did I put that envelope? Probably lost it somewhere in the chaos that followed. By now I have no way of checking its contents. However, I have a general idea. I'm sure the contents were the same. I need a key, a card, note, and a pen. Beatrice! What was she trying to do here? Or did she send out this stupid money to all the surviving relatives? I won't forgive her. For mocking them even after their deaths. Who are you? Who are you? Ange! Hector reacted nervously. As I looked at his worrying face, my agitation began to cool off bit by bit. I'm sorry. My hatred of Beatrice isn't anything new. I was surprised and angry to find out I had a connection with the witch already. At the age of 6 on the day. The past 12 years! I've been constantly enslaved by Beatrice's curse. Maybe proof of that curse. But please, hang in there. Breaking through that was supposed to be a part of the goal of this journey. That's right. Letting the blood race to my head won't get me anywhere. Got to think calmly. What's going on? What's the meaning of handing out 100 million yen to his relatives? Is she trying to provoke us? Damn that Beatrice! And calm down. How are you? A secretary buried his head in my stomach. He urged me to stay calm. I took another deep breath and started thinking. I wonder if this envelope was sent to support the theory that Beatrice was behind the crime. It was postmarked right before the family conference. It was intentionally set up so that it would be sent back after some time. I wanted it to arrive after the incident, said it. It is a good thinking music, yeah. Kinda reminds me of like... soundtrack is... It reminds me of Phoenix Wright. And like the best sense of that. Phoenix Wright is a banger soundtrack, and some of these tracks do remind me of that. When I try to figure out dinner. Very tough task. Yeah. That's what it implies. But it raises a few questions. Why use such an uncertain method? Certain? Yes. After all, no one would even guess how many days it would take for the mail to return before you use this trick. Normally, you couldn't even guess at the amount of time it would take for the receiving post office to do their research, determine that the recipient was unknown, and return it. Yeah, now that you mention it. It's definitely more than 2 days, though. It'd be more dependable if they just set an arrival date and mailed it that way. What are you? Maybe, but still, if they mailed it the day before, no matter how quickly it returned, it'd probably arrive Monday or later. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, plus it was during the weekend. Or if they wanted to make it seem like a letter from the dead. A letter from the dead, you say? You're right. It surprised me and made me feel bad. The mail with my dead family's name written on the outside in large letters was thrown into the mailbox with an ominous label attached. However, it doesn't really make sense to me. Would have mailed it to arrive on a specified day. It's can't understand why someone would allow the uncertainty of it arriving on a day other than the one they imagined. I can. If they expect it to be dead already, they wouldn't care. But it really does sound like Bito to me. Huh? You know about Bito? Well, I only talked with her a little. I can pretty much accept that Bito would do something like this. Can't you imagine that happening too, Mammon? Bito likes pranks like this, right? That might be true. Yeah, that's also something I need to remember about Beatrice. Not everything she does is for a practical reason, right? Practically, perfectly, you would set an arrival date. But because it's Beatrice, she decides to like fuck around and do shit like this, right? I wouldn't put it past Beatrice to try a vicious prank like a letter from the dead. That's not all. Beatrice would find it more interesting to do it through an uncertain method than one that was absolutely certain. I would find an uncertain method interesting. I remembered Maria's diary. It had described playing with Beatrice very often. During those times, Peter sometimes played pranks on the adult relatives with Maria, but those pranks always had a touch of witch aesthetics. Which was, they were more interesting when they were uncertain. One day, Maya and Bito decided to use up a wind-up minicar she had brought for a prank. It was a popular toy at the time, and if you made the minicar back up, it would wind up the spring in the tires when you let go, or race forwards. They had wound up that minicar and set it behind a milk jug. In other words, the prank was, if you lifted the milk jug, the minicar would jump forwards and surprise whoever did it. Hoping that someone would get caught in this prank, Big Sister and Bito had watched the adults from the shadows for the whole time. They were looking forward to seeing someone get caught by it. But no one moved the trap milk jug. The trap ended in a mess fire. When Maya had been murdered, we should have put it somewhere where we would have definitely caught someone. Bito apparently said this. The most interesting and pretty traps. That was where you don't know will get caught. Right, but if anyone will get caught at all. Probably true that it wouldn't get this kind of excitement from a trap that would certainly go off. Similar accounts occurred in multiple places, making it possible to guess that the witch called Beatrice had a fickle character and loved a random thrill. A fickle person is very hard to deal with. I can't spin this chessboard around to find out what the witch from 12 years ago was planning. You can spin it around if you imagine that she's just like a fucking troll, right? You put the troll face on her head and then just suddenly everything makes sense. As then examining these, I gazed at it from place to place. And she suddenly showed interest in the wall. There, several framed pictures were hung. Many of them were commemorative photos from when the relatives of the Kumasawa family gathered, or had someone to play. Kumasawa was in several. She still wore a smile that made it so you could almost see her light-hearted ho 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 laugh. Part of my distant memory, but I definitely remembered that she was this short, cheerful old lady. Didn't notice anything different about Kumasawa in the days leading up to the incident? No, he looked the same as ever. The family conference put her on edge, so she was always grumbling about how tough it was. What's this? Among the several frames, there was one that had something other than a picture of people in it. A picture of an enlarged relief of a door from a Western-style house or something. Couldn't see any interesting subject in particular, which actually bugged me a bit, as I wondered why anyone would have gone to all the trouble of taking it. As I got closer, I realized that some characters had been written with a pen. Oh, yeah, that's a photo I got when Mama's belongings were distributed. I think it probably has something to do with that Legend of the Gold thing. Is that the photo? The witch's epitaph, you mean? Was whispered that it pointed out the location of the hidden tones of gold. The Kumasawa tried to solve it too. What is in the epitaph? The first time I've seen it. There was an arch above the western-style door, and that's where the relief was. English words were engraved there. That seemed to be what the picture was focused on. The pen writing appeared to be a translation into Japanese. This door is only opened at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. You will be blessed only at a probability of a quadrillion to 1. I don't recognize it. Nothing like this ever showed up in the epitaph or Anishan's diary. Of his belongings, there were quite a few photos and notes that looked like you're trying to solve the riddle of the epitaph. Oh, there was actually surprisingly fond of that kind of thing. If there was that rumor that 10 tons of gold bars were hidden somewhere, it's no surprise she got so sold by it. In both Maya's diary and in the grimoire, was a description of the witch's epitaph that talked about how it was a ceremony to open the door to the Golden Land, Beatrice's resurrection ceremony, Beatrice's succession ceremony. On and on. Maybe the most interesting one was the last part, about it being a succession ceremony. According to Beatrice, if you were able to solve the witch's epitaph, you would receive not only the 10 tons of gold and the Ushirmiya family inheritance, but their own magical power and name, as well as the title of the Golden Witch. Among the Ushirmiya family household at the time, the witch's epitaph was thought of as a difficult quiz, which the family head Kinzo had arranged for to choose his successor. But it was a my sincere interpretation. The questioner was Beatrice herself, and she had posed a question in part to choose her successor. There are slight discrepancies in the details of those two interpretations. Either way, Feminist contents brought to mind a bloody serial murder, and both as a message to Bartels drew a tale of a crime following that pattern. If I could solve the witch's epitaph... Give me a second. Give me a second because this is pissing me off now. I gotta check something. I remember a friend who had talked about Umineko actually using the 1 quadrillion to 1 quote about how odd it would be to solve the epitaph. And it's pissing me off that I can't find it. Oh. Yeah, I did. I found it. The odds of one solving it without Japanese knowledge is 1 in a quadrillion. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, that just flashed into my head. It pissed me off. I had to, like, confirm it. You know? Okay, let's keep going. I tried to solve it many times myself, but I never did have a clue what it meant. It seems that many witch hunters tried as well. I also found theories like the La Plata theory. There are newer theories in certain books. However, neither of these theories were conclusive. Are there any other materials? I think so, but they were all split up between my siblings. I don't have a clue who was what. Sorry. It's reading this English text that Kurosawa took a picture of. Gives the impression that this was a forbidden door that was rarely opened. But where in dimension is it, I wonder? Judging by the lightning, it looks like it's outside. I would wonder if Kurosawa thought that the gold might be hidden there. No, keep it away. I don't wonder where in Rokujima mentioned it was. I hate to say it, but if it wasn't enough money in Mother's bank account to make me think she found the gold, she probably didn't find it after all. The Golden Witch, Beatrice, gave 10 sons of gold to Kinzo, which meant that the witch was the true owner of the gold. Beatrice was the owner of all the vast fortune of the Ishimiya family. The witch holding the vast wealth had massacred the humans in Rokujima on the day, sending large amounts of money to the surviving relatives like it was a game. Like hell, it's a letter from the dead. This is a desecration of the dead. I was once again convinced. When I finally died on the island that day, I didn't go to heaven. By being trapped by the witch even now, it had been desecrated and tormented for all eternity. Yeah, and you better read them. Like fast. Gretel. Whoever Gretel is, because she's not Ange, you better not fucking fall for this shit and not let anyone suffer longer. El Battler. Don't let him lose. The last place Ange visited was a store in the region between the housing district and the retail stores. The signboard saying Marufuku Sleep Shop. There lived the man who had been the boat captain of the ferry boat to Rokujima at the time. Even he, who had once lived as the man of the sea, retired after contracting a serious illness, was now taken care of at the house of his son and his son's wife. I remember it very well. I also remember how fucking boring it was in episode 1. I think they spent like 20 minutes talking about this boat. I'm not even kidding. An old man who used to be captain of a high-speed boat that went to and from Rokujima. At least among those still alive, he certainly is the person most familiar with matters concerning Rokujima. Media hoped he might have learned the details of the situation inside the Ushomiya family from various discussions with servants. However, he never said anything, so we eventually began to forget this old man. Okay. You were still about this small? Look how you've grown. It must have been very tough on you. I know very well how you must feel. Former boat captain was in such high spirits that he couldn't really tell why he had retired in the first place. His memory seemed clear too, and he could remember the events of more than a decade ago well. Apparently even about how Enge had been at the time. The way he chatted on was very helpful for Enge. At the same time, he also remembered the final family conference very well. And the fact that he remembered even details like Butler's fall madness on the boat was actually painful for her. It had been so back then as well. But now, there was no public way to cross to Rokujima. It was necessary to make an individual request to an owner of the boat to make the voyage. I'd been unable to arrange for a boat to Rokujima, so if he refused me, Such a voyage would probably become hopeless. I getcha. It wouldn't be easy to find a boat eager to go to the island. Like now, but even some call it by its old name, Akuji Kishima. It's understandable why the sailors around here would turn down your request. I don't know why. I don't know why. But this feels important. The old name feels important. Maybe it's not at all. But it feels like it matters. Fishermen that feared Rakanjima as an island of misfortune. Because of that incident 12 years ago, this fear had reached a peak. They respected the sea, feared it, and revered it. There were almost no sailors who would try to take a boat to that cursed island. Because of that, most of the witch hunters were unable to cross over to Rakanjima, were limited to taking a trip around the island. Ironically, this has caused the sense of mystery surrounding Rakanjima to increase even more. Everything is important. No, no it's not. No it's not. You cannot convince me. You cannot and will not convince me that the length of time they spent to describe how fast the boat went in episode 1, which was way too fucking long, had any importance. At all. No. I fucking hated that section in episode 1. That would have made me quit. Genuinely. No. Why did I say that? It's gonna be a hot pursuit, isn't there? They're gonna be like chasing a boat. Right now. This is when it matters. This is when the fucking boat thing from episode 1 that has pissed me off since then actually comes into play. There's no fucking way. If that's the case, bravo. If that's the case, genuinely bravo. Rikishi, you fucking genius. If that's not the case, you're a fraud. It resulted in the propagation of the bizarre witch stories we loved so much. You take me in your boat? Yep. We're supposed to give it back to me just for tomorrow. It seems its engine has been in a pretty bad mood lately. I'll knock it into shape. The former boat captain promised that tomorrow he would go back to his previous job and take his boat out to Rakanjima. No, my method of transport to Rakanjima is insured. That is probably all I can do on Nijima. All that's left is tomorrow. On Rakanjima, I'll reach the final destination of a journey that stretches back 12 years. Isn't that great? It's great, it looks like you'll be able to go to the island. Sure does. I heard that it would be hard to find a boat. The boat captain's helpfulness really saved me. Although it may not be the same as it was for you, Ange. I'm sure the incident 12 years ago has been a thorn for the boat captain as well. One that he still hasn't been able to pull out. Ryu, even the boat captain wasn't able to sort out his feelings. This whole time. That's probably true. If that guy had taken his boat out on October 5th as promised, there's a chance that he could have saved a lot of people. If he had been hesitant to go out just because of a little wind. You shouldn't say things like that. I'm sure that's pained the boat captain constantly until today. Apparently, they truly had been right in the middle of a typhoon on October 5th. According to the captain, he had known for certain that they would be trapped by the typhoon if they headed to Rakanjima on October 4th. But the family had been very persistent about the date of their conference. It had been determined beforehand. It was only natural. All of the relatives had been very busy at the time. They came to the family conference only after arranging their schedules beforehand. It was probably a situation where they couldn't easily push it back to the next week just because the typhoon was approaching. It wasn't the boat captain's fault. But perhaps you could say that he wasn't so responsible. They could place the blame wholly on the typhoon. Certainly, just as these two said, there's no doubt that the boat captain has been dragging the 12 years ago along with him this whole time. And by taking me The last member of the Shomiya line to the islands, bringing him back safely. I'll be trying to find some resolution for his past. This boat is supposed to return just afternoon. I'll guide you to Rokkenjima after that. We should arrive before evening. It's an island without electricity or lights. You won't be able to stay long. Will you be satisfied with landing that short? There's nothing that would make me more satisfied by staying longer. I'm grateful just to have you take me there. Yep, don't mention it. If I hadn't part of my boat, I'd be able to get you to the island as much as you like, without being stingy. Not like I have a goal of doing something in particular on Rokkenjima. So I'll be there during the evening. Right, also two different worlds of day and night. Seemed almost like a borderline between this world and the next. Or possibly 98 or 96. And it felt like the most fitting time to visit Rokkenjima. It's not like I have anything in particular to do there. Just staying there for a few hours should be enough for me to find some closure. At the time, there was a small knock on the paper sliding door, and Amakusa stuck his head in, tapping his watch. I headed back and told him about I had succeeded in reserving a boat for tomorrow. That's great! It's about time for us to go. We'll be counting on you tomorrow, Captain. You're related to me. I heard all about what you guys have gone through. I also watched talk shows at the time. Was disgusted by the people who stirred up that incident just for fun. I'll help out any way I can. Thank you very much. Then we'll see you noon tomorrow. Here. With Fairfax boat. And she got a wrapped wad of 10,000 yen bills from her pocket. The boat captain should have noticed its thickness as well, but it paid it absolutely no interest and shook his head. Well, I'm grateful to you. This is a sign from the Evans. Been given a final chance to take you to Rokkenjima and bring you back safely. I'll finally be able to finish the final job Kinzo entrusted me with. I'm grateful to you. Got more than enough money from Kinzo back then. I can't accept yours. Thank you very much. Did he get the letter too? I think he did. I think he got the letter too. Your steps on the stairs. It's steep. And a steep staircase that was the exact opposite of accessible. Getting out to believe that it was actually a chest of drawers and a TV in the room upstairs. Most of the first floor was a bedding store, with many futons piled up on each other. We weaved our way through the cramped futon shop, cautiously checking around the outside. Amakusa dashed out first and started up the car. My grandchild's room is empty. I really wouldn't mind if you stayed there. As you see, we've got plenty of extra futons. Thanks a lot for the offer. This way, even if the unexpected happens, you won't be bothered. Don't know the details. Seems you've been caught up in a lot of trouble. There's a rumor that some suspicious people are searching for someone. Wouldn't happen to be you, would it? Who knows? And she played dumb. But it looked as though the boat captain had guessed. My job is to take guests to Rokkenjima and bring them back again. That job was put on hold 12 years ago and still hasn't ended. So thanks to you, I'll finally be able to finish it. So listen, let me finish this job, okay? Do you understand me? Yeah, it's not like I'm going there to die. But part of me does feel that. If I could die on that island, I'll be able to go where my family is. I finally become aware of it. I might have been planning to die on that island. I might have come all this way, heading towards Rokkenjima, in search of a place to die. The boat captain had guessed that as well. That's why he repeatedly told me not to die. Yeah, I won't die. I promise. After all, still not sure if there's any reason why I need to go to Rokkenjima. No, I'm sure there's a reason. Even if there isn't one for you, there's one for them. The island called you. That's why you came here. When you said them, I thought it was like seeing engines like Mammon and Sakutaro. I thought he was gonna say it for them, and he points behind her. And Mammon's like, we're standing right there, completely shocked. Might be true. I've been called. I was cold. For what reason? For them. Father. Mother. Battler. And Maria. Maybe the Golden Witch. Beatrice. What is on Rokujima? I accidentally pressed Alt. Oops. What will I... Oops. What will I achieve? Even though tomorrow is finally almost here. Still haven't been able to understand my own mission. There was the sound of a car stopping in front of the store, and a short honk could be heard. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, excuse me. Yep. Winding between the stack of futons in the cramped store, I was about to go outside. Then stopped. What is it? What is that? That? What? What are you talking about? I'm all over. I pointed it. But no matter how much the boat captain squinted, I noticed absolutely nothing in that direction that should have surprised me. That must mean. Impossible! Why? Ryu, Ange, what does it mean? What's going on here? I don't have a clue either. There's no way something that ridiculous. Is this magic? A miracle? This is probably fate. Now I understand. This was my mission. Ryu? I don't have a clue what are we talking about? Shaking and pointing into the thin darkness inside the store and froze up. What is it? What is it? Guys! Oh my god, what could it be? It's Beatrice! She's standing right there! She's about to do her iconic cackle! It's been 13 years! And she's like right there! Staring at Ange! About to fucking dropkick her! Oh my god! What is it? You see something there, don't you? I don't see anything. What is it you see? Thank you, Captain. Everything. Was fate. When me visiting this place was fate. This is the mission and the purpose that I'm going to Rokujima for. I was wondering when Amakusa would show up. Ange? What is it? Something wrong? I don't have a clue either. This girl just froze up while pointing into the darkness. Ange? Are you okay? What can you see? Don't you see it? It's that right there! Don't you see it? All I can see is a normal display case. There's no one there, right? You, Ange. Don't know what's going on. Is this a dream? Magic? What is it? Ange? The girl lifted his face towards Ange. From his eyes, with a single tear. Ange-sama. Is this Maria's diary? Or is this like a... What is it? I can stand, sister. And Beatrice. Who are you? This is magic, isn't it? Are you gonna fucking tease me like this? Ryukishi, you fucking tease! Oh my god! I can't believe he actually pulled that off! I actually can't believe he pulled off a cliffhanger like this. Fuck you! Fuck you! There's no fucking way! Absolute cinema. I'm doing the pause right now. Absolute cinema. That's me. Oh my god. Okay. Been about 2 hours and 30 minutes. I think I'm gonna stop here for today. I know I should probably continue, but I'm feeling kind of... this time I remembered to save. I'm feeling kind of down, and I know that there's gonna be, a good time to stop, because we're back into the past where we're gonna start doing the test things. What the fuck can I ponder? I already talked about it, right? Give me a second. So, I was eating and I think I forgot to mute the mic. My apologies. Oopsies. So, here's what I was thinking, right? With the whole thing that I just didn't understand, I was like, so how did it go again? There was the first Twilight in episode 2. I'm going back to episode 2 because it's the one that I've been most invested in. It's episode 2 that I'm the most invested in. At the start of episode 2, they do like the whole bullshit about like Maria's key, and Beatrice basically loses because the whole key in Maria's letter could have been swapped, right? That was the whole thing. So that one I don't really care about because it's kind of like the first Twilight of episode 3. It's kind of disconnected from the rest, right? Everything here feels connected to each other, right? But this, I mean, you could assume that Kinzo just gathered up everyone in there, right? Kinzo told everyone, the entire family, while they're at the conference, he comes down. Everyone, come to the chapel now. I have decided that the way for you guys to become my successor is to come here and witness this. Upon arriving there, they meet the witch, who like shows them some cool magic trick, like shows them like a bunch of cards, shuffles them around, and then fights the card they were thinking of. And they go, wow, I acknowledge the witch, right? That's the cutscene we saw. Then he lets Rosa out on some reason, maybe a roll of the dice, while he kills everyone else, right? All of this done, like, not even with the roll of dice, right? He tells Rosa, go fetch that key, and you'll be my successor, or some bullshit like that. Or you'll have a shot at being my successor. Rosa does that, goes to fetch the key from Maria. They lock that up, Rosa brings it back. Everything is set up. So Rosa is an accomplice to the first one. That's my guess. Maybe it's involuntary, maybe she didn't know that they would all die, but she was an accomplice, and that would explain how things were set up. Second Twilight, that's the one that interests me, right? We've got a master key missing, with the whole bullshit of Cannon, I think. Cannon left the room. What was in the room? Give me a second. What keys were left behind? What trick were left behind? Like, I don't remember writing down what keys were in the Jessica's key in the master key, right? That's what it was, I think. I don't remember. Also, yeah, this is false. This is a bug. Like, this is mistranslation. So I don't see. I guess someone else could, like, lock the room, or they could take the master key of another servant, right? And then it would be set up. So my guess would be for the second Twilight, right? Second Twilight. Let me write it down actually. It's gonna be shit. It's not gonna be the best theory, but it's gonna be a theory. So first, fuck you. First Twilight. Give me in lower size, please. First Twilight. Rosa is an accomplice. Helps get the key to set the thing. Maybe she didn't know about the murders. Kinzo can easily bring the family member there. Right? Second Twilight. Cannon kills Jessica, then leaves upon orders. The third Twilight. What was in the third Twilight again? Third Twilight. Oh, third Twilight is when Goda and Kumasawa are killed, right? Because then after the fourth Twilight is when Goda, Shannon, and George are all killed at once. So third Twilight, Canon comes back with Halloween makeup or fake evidence, fake wound, kills Nanjo plus Kumasawa with the indirect help of Shannon plus Genji. Something like this, right? Fourth Twilight, then he goes to kill himself in the Jessica room. Fourth Twilight, Shannon murders everyone, then kills herself in front of the mirror. I think it's like the main theory. I've already like pondered over this room many times. I think the main reason why you would have Shannon dead in front of the mirror, head like slumped over in front of it, stake coming from the back, would be that she killed herself in front of the mirror and the stake fell on the ground right there. Unless her body was moved, which I doubt, she could just kill herself there. There's still a problem with the keys. Like, even right there, then he goes to kill himself in the Jessica room. The Jessica room was locked, and he didn't have keys anymore. And a lot of the keys are in the servant box. So I do not know. Like, maybe he collected the Jessica key after everyone left? I don't know. I need to think of this. But he could have gone back to Jessica's room and be killed there. That would explain, oh, he came back, right, as a zombie. Because he wasn't dead at that point. Fifth Twilight. I don't fucking know. Genji did it, I guess. After stashing. So that's body away. Right? Something like this. The way that Genji would have time to like set up the bodies on the fountain would be if Canon did all this bullshit and Canon just set up the bodies somewhere. Right? And then Genji comes, takes the body, puts it on the fountain. Happy everyone. Later in the Potter, Butler wrote it, actually. He's Beatrice. Lol. Here we go. That's my guess. I'm gonna put it right there. New theory. Not better. There are still problems with it. Clearly, there are still problems with it. That's my new episode for theory for now. I'm gonna stop here. Thank you everyone for coming. I hope you had a great stream. I did. Although I do feel pretty sick, so I'm gonna stop here. Bye bye everyone. Have a good night. Here we go. I'm gonna post all my episodes shots on the Discord. I think they do need updating.